All right, so let's just jump right in. So now we're on page 10, and like I said, if you look on the bottom there, that sort of sad face that represents the left hand, or in music we say bass clef. All right, so we just did the right hand. Now we're gonna focus on the left hand. Now this one's a little different. Now remember, with the right hand, we put our thumb on C. But if we want to be in G position for bass clef, or the left hand, we need to put our thumb on G. So we're going to find G, two black notes to the left, C, D, E, F, G. So there's G, and every finger have a white note. So now we're in C position for the left hand. So let's play through the bottom of page 10. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Remember, I'm just saying 1 because it gets 1 second. 1, 1, 1. All right, I'm on that second line now. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, play the notes. What the heck? Yeah, so it's a little difficult. I would say start counting out loud first. That's sort of the easiest way to sort of keep track of time. And then eventually you'll be able to count in your head. I remember I was talking to my teacher and I was like, there's no way in heck that you're able to count in your head. And she played it, and then she looked at me and she goes, you don't believe me, huh? And I go, no. But believe me, you'll eventually get to that point where you can count in your head and just play the notes and you'll be on beat. Okay, so now we're on page 11, and what do you know? They're introducing the whole note, and that's the one that I talked about before, which gets 4 seconds. And it looks kind of like the half note, except there's no stem, right? There's no stem, that's the only difference. So let's go ahead and play through the bottom here. So, okay, this one's kind of funky because now we're jumping around, right? We're not just going up. So now they have us jumping around. And so this is the first song with the left hand, all right? So let's get our left hand in C position, meaning our pinky is going to be on C. All right, every finger have a white note. Okay. And let's start. So we got C, pinky, F, pointer, E. 1, 2. Remember, that's a half note, so I'm holding it for 2 seconds. That's why I held it a little bit longer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's continue on the bottom there. So now we're starting on C. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Go ahead and practice that guy if you haven't already. And then I'm just going to move on to the next page here. All right. And so what do you know? It's talking about everything I just talked about. So the top of the page, right, it's talking about treble clef. That's what I said kind of represents the right hand. And then you got bass clef, which is that sort of sad face. And I say that kind of represents the left hand. So treble clef, that funny looking symbol, that's for the right hand. Bass clef is for the left hand. All right. In the middle of the page there, it's talking about time signatures. Don't even worry about the bottom note. I just want you to pay attention to the top note. We can worry about the bottom note later. So just always remember that the top note, the top number there represents how many beats. And remember I said beats, seconds, that's the same unit, right? How many seconds are in each measure. So if there's a 4, like there is on the bottom of page 12, that number on the top, that represents you're going to always be counting to 4. So maybe some of you have danced in the past. Sometimes you might hear, like the lead dancer count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's to stay on beat. Same thing with music. We count 1, 2, 3, 4 to stay on beat. Because remember, sheet music tells us two things. It tells us the duration, the time, how long we hold that note, and the exact note that we want to play, right? Whether it's a C note, D note, E note, F note, etc. So let's go ahead and play this one. And actually, let's go ahead and just kind of survey this piece here. So I'm looking at it, and I see that we have a lot. The majority are quarter notes, so we're going to be holding it for 1 second. But there are a few half notes that are scattered throughout the piece there. And so we're going to be holding those guys for 2 seconds. Now I want you to look on the left hand, and there is something new, and it's kind of a funny looking symbol, and that is called a rest. And so we have, just like we have for notes where we have to play notes for a certain amount of time, we have rests that tell us to not play anything for a certain amount of time. So you can think of a rest like when you're on vacation, you're resting, right? You're not working, you're not doing anything. You're supposed to be resting. So that's what a rest is. So on the left hand, we have a whole rest. And if you can kind of guess the value of that, a whole note gets 4 seconds or 4 beats. So a whole rest would get 4 beats, right? Whole rest, whole note, kind of similar. So let's go ahead and just play through this one. I'll play through it. So I got my right hand in C position. 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, and you notice my left hand wasn't playing any notes whatsoever because there was rest. In particular, there was a whole rest, right, in each measure or bar. If you see these little squares, that's called a measure. How there's 2 lines and they're kind of chunked off like that. That's called a square or a bar. A lot of times in hip hop music, we like to say bars, right? And so measure, bars, same thing. So when you hear people say, spit 12 bars for me, they're really saying rap for 12 measures, right? Or rap for 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 12 times. So let's continue now to the bottom, and now it's kind of reversed. So now the right hand, the treble clef, has a whole rest, and the left hand is kind of busy here. So let's play through the left hand. 1, 2. 1, 2, right? That's a half note, so I'm holding it for 2 seconds. Now, there's something new, another thing that's new, right? We just learned rest. So if you see 2 dots at the end of a piece, that means to repeat. That means to go back all the way to the beginning and play it again, just one time through. So really, when you're playing this piece, you're going to start from the beginning, go all the way through, restart again, play all the way through, and then you're done. So since there's double dots, I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to go a little quicker. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So I would say take your time with that one. If you're struggling a little bit, it's okay. That's why we have these videos, so you can go at your own pace, right? I was just doing it a little faster so you can kind of see what it would sound like if it was kind of a little more fluid and you kind of got more comfortable with the notes. So the next episode, we're going to go over page 13. We're going to practice those 2 songs.